fixed. hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining us this day. Thank you for spending time with us this Saturday morning. We're excited to have you here, and we're excited to have amazing women of God here. Just before we get into it, I will just have Dr. Chichi share a word of prayer, and then we'll get started.
Unmute.
I'm Dr. Chichi Odeloga. I'm a family physician, and I'm also board certified in family medicine obstetrics. My passion is taking care of women, pregnancy, childbirth, breastfeeding, and in my practice, we have a lot to do with wellness and health. So I'm very happy to be here to share from what I do and what I have to present to my patients. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you please continue with a word of prayer, and then we can get into it?
Oh, okay. Father, we thank you for this time. This is an awesome day you have made, and we shall be glad in it. I thank you for this time and for all the women that have come to discuss our own health, discuss our wellness, discuss how to be stronger in you. And we ask you to be with us in everything we do today. And we hope that we'll be able to reach the people where they are. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Dr. Chichi. The Bible says in 3 John chapter 2, verse 2, that, beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thou soul prospered. So we're not far away from doing what is right and what is biblical for us as Christians to do. And that is to be in good health. And we're honored and blessed to have amazing professionals, spirit-filled professionals in our midst this day. Dr. Chichi has already introduced herself with all her qualifications. I'll just have the rest of the panelists, amazing women, introduce themselves as well. We're going to continue with Pastor Cynthia, and then Auntie Rose, and then Auntie Jenny. So please introduce yourselves with your qualifications, please.
Pastor Cynthia.
I hope you can hear me. Okay,
Yes.
Pastor Cynthia has an issue. She went off for a second, so we'll have Auntie Jenny introduce herself, and then Auntie Rose.
Okay, my name is Mrs. Jenny Boachi Ajuman, and I'm a registered nurse from London University in England, also a midwife who now teaches clinically. I teach clinical practice. I am the nurse at the bedside with mothers in labor. I also teach women and their husbands preparation for childbirth as a living. I enjoy doing that. I think preparation is very important. So this is something I internationally got board certified. I'm a Lamaze childbirth educator. So I can work anywhere in the world with this license, and I'm very excited about it. I also precept young nurses. I orient them. I do clinical teaching with them. I'm a resource for a lot of up and coming nurses, midwives, new graduates. And that's what I spend most of my time at work doing. But the most thing I really enjoy is being with the mother when she's in labor, and also teaching her how to take care of a newborn baby and getting the family to enjoy the journey together. That's what I enjoy most. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Auntie Rose.
Hi, so my name is Mrs. Rose Ampedu, and I've been in the medical field for about 15 plus years now. I started with a master's entry into nursing, and then I went into family nurse practice. I've been a family nurse practitioner for about 6 years now, and about 2 years ago, I decided to take on a new specialty, which is mental health. And currently partnered with a friend, and we have our own practice, and we basically have an outpatient practice, and we take care of people to help them with their mental health to achieve wholeness one step at a time.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we will have Dr. Cynthia introduce herself whenever she gets back online, but we're just going to continue with...
Hello.
Oh, she's here. I'm so sorry. Okay, so please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, we just had a little technical glitch, but we got it together. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad being on the discussion panel once again. As she said, my name is Dr. Cynthia Pencil. I had my education and my background starting with Masters in Public Health, and then I continued on. And I pursued my doctorate in public health. And I also had my master's in business administration. Presently, I'm working more with the policy business aspect of things. But at the same time, I have been trained so much in the area of public health. So yeah, so much knowledge. And I believe that I have something to contribute towards this pursuit of wellness discussion.
Amen. And we have no doubts that we're going to get amazing wisdom shared amongst us this day. Let me not say morning. It will be different for other people. So we're just going to get right into it. Our topic for today is spring into wellness. And just because it's spring, we're hoping that it's going to continue throughout all the seasons of our lives. But we're going to get a start and a good spring into wellness to be continued forever in our lives. With the first question, we're just going to have all our panelists give us a definition of wellness with regards to maybe their area of expertise. Give us a definition for wellness. We're going to start with Auntie Rose.
Okay, thanks. So in mental health, when we talk about wellness, the World Health Organization defines wellness, mental wellness, as a state of well-being in which the individual realizes their limitation or are assertive about it without having a negative connotation or impact in their day-to-day life. So they are able to they are able to know, they know their abilities, okay? They know their strengths, they know their limitations, cope with the normal stresses of life without interrupting their work, without interrupting their family life, and without interrupting their school if they are in school. Also, they are able to recognize and regulate the anxiety or stress they are having without it becoming overwhelming. They are also able to work productively and fruitfully and able to contribute to their community effectively. Okay, so a lack of that, what happens is a lack of the mental wellness would result in people not functioning properly in these aspects of life. And so wellness or mental health wellness requires a conscious effort, intentional choices towards living purposeful and fulfilling life that would enable us to realize our potential, cope with the daily stress, work productively, and contribute meaningfully to our community and society.
Wow. Wow. I'm not going to try and get overwhelmed with this definition. So we're just going to, but I'm taking down notes because some of these things are going to come up as we continue our discussions. We're going to continue with Dr. Chichi.
Yes, I would like to quote from WHO. It defines wellness as the optimal state of health of individuals and groups, and wellness is expressed as positive approach to living. I think the last word really is much easier to understand. It's a positive approach to living. The way you get to health is from wellness, meaning the things you do to achieve health, to achieve a balance in your life, to live a robust life. So wellness affects different parts of your life, and you being able to achieve good health and being able to live a robust, happy, and fulfilled life. So all those things you do to make a difference in your life for the better, to make a difference in the environment for the better. That's what wellness is. It's an active process. It's not a state. It's going on, it's active, it's dynamic, it keeps changing, but you do something to make a difference. You don't stay in one place.
Awesome. It doesn't change. It's a process, an active process. And it keeps changing. I mean,
It keeps changing.
It keeps changing. Awesome. Pastor Cynthia.
So looking at wellness from the public health perspective, we all know that public health is simply promoting the health and protecting the health of individuals in a community. So that is the summary of public health. I don't want to read the definitions, but public health has to do with promoting and protecting the health of individuals in a community. And so the question is, how do you promote health? And how do you protect health? And one of the main things we look at in public health is promotion of wellness. So you realize that wellness is really connected or is part of public health, because we are protecting and promoting the health, then obviously we are promoting wellness. Unlike physicians, Dr. Chichi, they treat the sick, right? But what we do is that we say we are preventing you from becoming sick. So that is why at this time, you realize that public health is all over the place. Why? We are getting people vaccinated because we don't want them to be sick. So that is some of the things that we do in public health, promoting and protecting people's health. So when it comes down to wellness, like they have all defined, wellness is a set of activities that you involve yourself in so that you have a better life as far as your health is concerned. And it's not just one of the things that it's not just limited to your physical health. When you talk about wellness, wellness has to do with your social, your spiritual, your mental state. So it's a holistic approach to wellness, to your entire being. So you cannot live and say that I'm not pursuing wellness. Wellness has to do with every area of your life. Like you quoted the first scripture from the beginning, it's spiritual, it is physical, your body, and then it is mental, your mind. And it also involves, so many other aspects. So every aspect of you, as long as you are pursuing the betterment of that area, you are pursuing wellness.
Awesome. It's a whole package. It can't be one-sided. And so that is why it makes sense for us as Christians to take on a topic like this, because you can't do physical and leave the spiritual aspect out of it or the mental aspect out of it. Auntie Jenny.
Yes, so I think the three professionals that went before me described it very well according to their areas of expertise. And they definitely touched most of what I would say if I looked at it from my area of expertise, which is maternal child and family care. But to cut it short, I would say, as Paul said in the Bible, that he learned to abase and to abound. And that made him whole, because wellness is the ability to plan to prepare, and to then end up with a positive approach to your circumstances. And sometimes, like Dr. Pencil said, you know, there is a lot of issues that are involved. But one of the things is also the ability just to adapt to your environment, to the changes in your environment. Like now we all have faced the situation of COVID. It has affected us in diverse ways. And in dealing with it, so that we may come out of it well, we've had to learn how to adapt, either through our managing our work or managing our families or doing things differently, so that we would end up with a positive approach to things, as Dr. Chichi said. So really it involves a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it's the ability to be able to survive in different circumstances.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for the definitions and understanding you've brought to wellness. I'm totally amazed. I thought I did a little research, so might know everything. And I'm pretty sure everybody else watching us might have also thought they knew everything about wellness until all these definitions came up. So what are wellness goals? I mean, talking about wellness, obviously it looks like we have to make plans to, you know, chip in some wellness goals in there, and it has to be continuous. And so I would ask Dr. Cynthia, what are wellness goals, and is it really necessary to set wellness goals?
Definitely, it is so essential. I know our senior pastor always says that if everything remains as it is without being compelled by an external force, it remains so. And so you also realize that it's easy for things to break down than for you to build up something.
Right.
So when we talk about wellness, it's about we having a positive lifestyle. All the activities that we do coming together to give us that better lifestyle or healthy lifestyle that we're looking for. And so definitely, like I said, if you don't do anything about it, you know, I can choose to like, oh, I know I have to eat, right? So I can eat ice cream for breakfast. I can eat pizza for lunch. And I can order some chicken wings, you know, for dinner. Anything my heart desires, so I close my eyes and I can just imagine that's what I want to eat. No, if we go about that, it things that way, we will not get to that point that we have to. So definitely, if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, we want to pursue wellness, you have to set goals for yourself. And so, having said that, there are things that you have control over and you have to put them in place. And I remember so well, we talked about achieving goals about a couple of months ago, right? And so these are like Pastor Dr. Chichi said, you have to actively pursue them. And so you have to look at what brings me health. It is so important. It is like every aspect of your life, you know, because if you are not well, you cannot take care of yourself. You cannot work. You cannot help any other person. I mean, you are just no good. So one of the things that we really want to come down to is, what am I putting inside my body?
Right.
In order for me to sustain good physical strength, you know. So in this case, you set goals. Spiritually, what's my relation? What do you believe in? What is the purpose of life? You want to set goals so that whatever you believe in, whatever the purpose of life is. Socially, God never created us as an island, okay? And so the word of God even says that if you want to have friends, you have to show yourself what? Friendly. So you have to set certain goals as far as social is concerned. Mental goals, stresses are all around, but what do you want to do to calm yourself, to be in that good state? You know, so I think I'll summarize it all by saying that, yes, it is very, very important for us to set a wellness goal and then make up our minds that we're going to actively pursue them to realize them.
Awesome. So in a nutshell, what we're saying is prevention is better than cure. And that's why it is necessary to set wellness goals. Just to let everybody that is watching us know, you can ask questions if you have them, and we'll try to answer them as we go through the talk today. So I would want to ask, since we have doctors who see patients here, what kind of wellness goals do you expect your patients or us to have? And how do we set some of these goals? And I'll start with Dr. Chichi.
Yes, it's very important to have goals. When I see patients, the different parts of wellness that we pursue, they're physical, they're emotional, they're spiritual, they're environmental, economic. When I see a patient, usually they come because they need a physical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know for them to have optimal health, they really have to set some goals.
Right.
So the ideal, I start with the physical if they don't have emotional, because if they have emotional and other issues, we can't really go forward till we address it.
Mhm.
So the initial one I will do is your physical wellness. What are your plans? It's important that they do some things to reduce the risk factors in their lives that can cause heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and other things. So at least all my patients know, one, dietary goals. There has to be a modification. And I usually use my plate food plan. Everybody knows my plate. It's on the internet. Mrs. Obama pushed it. It's just nutritional. It's just trying to increase fruits and vegetables in your diet. So I give them that goal. That's the main one. Then the other one on that nutritional is like how you food portion. Then I give them exercise. We know that even 3 minutes of exercise increases the good, happy hormones in your body. It just does that. So even 3 minutes of exercise does something, even if you sit down and be moving your legs. So I set that goal for them and they slowly go up on it. Then I set goals regarding social relationships, because this is also part of wellness, social. It's so important that they do new activities, like some of them that are not in school. I encourage them to set a goal for school, set a goal for finishing your GED. These things are mental and they're also social. In doing that, they meet new people, they see new things in life, it broadens their life. So I do set those goals. Then stressors, there's so much stress. We also set goals on that. But that is a little bit more complicated. Most times I find out, do you have a pastor? Do you have someone that you can talk to in your family? Have you spoken to your mother? What's the relationship? So I set up goals for them to try to connect again, to exchange relationships, because those things improve their whole health, their well-being, and that's wellness. Increasing your social touch, increasing the people you know, it makes a big difference. And it adds to your life. You need things that add to your life. So your spices up your life, your happiness level starts increasing when you have these things in life. So those are just the minimum that I set up.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Auntie Rose, please, can you add to that for us?
Yes, thanks so much. So for mental health, usually when patients come to me and I have to do the initial assessment, I first of all have to base the goals of we. And so when I say we, the patient and myself, I include them in the process of making the goals. Because if the patient or the person is not involved in the process, the goals will not be achieved. So first of all, I look at their readiness. You have to check their readiness. People come and want to get better. They want to have feel very well, but they may not be ready. So mentally, we have to assess your readiness and see if you have accepted that situation that you find yourself in. Accepting a situation doesn't mean defeat.
Right.
Awareness, being assertive and being ready to promote change. Okay, so the goal that someone would set for when they are depressed is different from a goal that someone would set when they are anxious. The patient or the person that has an eating disorder has a different kind of goal they will set. A person who is grieving has a different kind of goal they will set. A child who is having attention deficit problems would have different goals that they would set. When an autistic child comes to me, they also have different goals they will set. A child that has disorders like skin picking and disorders, we have different goals they'll set. So bottom line, what I'm saying is a goal is based on one's needs. So that is the second step. So let me give a practical example. So if my patient comes to me, a mother comes to me with a child, and they are complaining about lack of focusing and inattentiveness. Now, the goal here for the child and the parents is for the child to be able to focus and get their schoolwork done. The child to be able to focus and be able to do tasks at home effectually or effectively. So we will set goals based on that. So that is how we set our goals. Now, also the goals that we set have to be achievable. So meaning they should be able to have a time limit for the set of goals. How are we going to achieve the goals? What are the first steps to achieve the goals? So that is the other thing that we look at. I also would say we look at what has worked in the past and what has not worked. So by setting goals, we look at resiliency, what you have had, what you've been able to handle in the past. And we talk about using that same resiliency and focusing it towards this particular situation. So that's the other thing that we look at. And then we look at, we break it in, like I said, break it into smaller achievable steps. So we reevaluate the goals. So the first time we come, we talk about it, we break it up, we give ourselves some time limit, we come back and evaluate maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every week, depending on everybody's situation and their level of distress that they have. So bottom line, I mean, what I would like to say is goals for mental health depends on the presenting problem, and it has to be achievable, it has to be measurable, and it has to be broken up into little steps for them to be able to handle. And you have to be part of, the patient has to be part of the goal steps, like the goal setting steps. Basically.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Chichi and Auntie Rose. And this one actually just walks us right into our next question. And that is achieving wellness goals. And what are some of the simple steps that we can start with, simple practical steps that we can start with? Because the whole purpose of this that we're doing is actually to, more like what Pastor Cynthia said, preventive measures, to keep ourselves in good health. So what are some of the practical things that we can be doing daily? Because I believe that even before somebody gets really sick, gets over emotional about certain things, gets anxiety or very stressed and all of that, it starts from somewhere, and sometimes we don't even realize it. So what are some of the preventive measures that we can take to make sure that our mental health is on a good walk. Our physical health is in good shape. And we're taking preventive measures to make sure that we're in a good place. And I'm going to start with Auntie Jenny. She's going to take us through some social and childbirth wellness goals and practices that we can take.
Okay, so thank you. Because childbirth actually is a natural occurring thing. Okay, it's not a disease. It only becomes idiopathic, meaning it becomes a disease because other things tend to happen. But pregnancy per se is something that is God ordained and that is normally just a natural occurring thing. And I would say that now I'm putting on my midwifery hat or a labor nurse hat or a childbirth educator hat. That's what I'm wearing right now. And looking at that, there are 4 stages in child birth. The first stage is pre-conceptual care. So before you start having your baby, you want to think, what is it I need to do so that I'm in the best health I can be in? Instead of just saying, oh, well, let it happen naturally, which is, yes, it's natural, but you want to lay a foundation where you make sure your blood pressure is fine, you have the right weight, you know, you are taking your prenatal vitamins. So this is something, now speaking to all women here in the United States and internationally, what you want to do is once you decide you want to have a baby, is to visit your first line healthcare person, whether it's your PCP, your GP, as they call them in the UK, or your midwife, or someone that can give you information about preparing to become a mother. And this will cover mental health, it will cover your environment, it will cover your social, you know, the people that need to surround you. It covers a lot of areas, but it's called pre-conceptual care. So don't leave that. Once you decide you want to have a baby, look into pre-conceptual care. Visit Pastor Dr. Chichi, as she said, and she will equip you with the things that you need so before you get pregnant. Then the second thing is prenatal care. Once you find out that you are pregnant, you want to go and be seen as quickly as you can. It's amazing how even to this day, people come and they say, oh, I didn't know I was pregnant, and they're already 4 or 5 months gone, you know, but the very first 3 months are when your baby is intricately being formed inside you. So you want to be making sure you're eating the right thing, you are resting, you are doing the things that you ought to do by having had pre-conceptual care. Now you are into prenatal care because you're already pregnant. Then the third thing is intrapartum care, which is make sure that you have a good place to have your child. You choose your hospital carefully, educate yourself, you know, prepare for your childbirth. Now, this takes me to childbirth preparation classes. Very important. They're important not only for the mom, they're also important for the dad. Because most people think that, oh, you know, men have nothing to do with this. But believe you me, as I work as a midwife or a labor nurse, I've seen how men are so actively involved in the birth of their child. I will give you a quick illustration. I was busy telling the mother when she got to the time of pushing the baby out. So we were encouraging mom. Suddenly I looked up and I realized that the dad was quiet, not knowing that he himself was actively pushing as well. I'm like, you can't help us that way. You need to be a cheerleader. So what I'm saying is, let's not take this for granted. The dads need also to be prepared for the day of birth, for the coming baby. So childbirth should include not just the dad and the mom, it should include as many people in the family that want to know about it, especially those that are going to be support for the mother. But really, many things do happen. And one of the things I always tell my patients is that when I went to the labor room with my mother and my younger sister was in labor, because I was the last one, being the first one to have a baby. And the nurse was telling my sister to push. And she was pushing. My mom was pushing. The nurse kept telling my mom, stop pushing, tell your daughter to push. You could see that all her face was swollen up and she was, also getting down to the pushing part of it. And when the baby was born and the baby came out, my mom threw herself in the rocking chair and she said, oh my God, I'm so tired. And the nurse said, we were telling you not to push, Mrs. Buddy. So all I'm trying to tell everybody online, grandmothers, everybody who needs to learn, it's important to prepare for the coming baby. I thought you might smile at that. I hope it made you chuckle. Last but not least is the postpartum care. Again, after a woman delivers, it's very important that she transitions from all the changes that have taken place in the last 9 to 10 months. Remember, the first month is hidden. So it's actually 10 months. And she needs the support of the people around here. She needs the help. Some people need to cook. Some people need to make sure she's resting. Some people need to help with the baby. Again, it all takes preparation. So the word I would leave with anyone, whether you are listening to me, I have friends listening from Australia, friends listening from Uganda. It's important that there's good and adequate preparation from the right sources. So that's what I would leave with you.
Thank you so much. And I'll just have Pastor Cynthia take us through spiritual and financial, practical goals that we can take or we can set. Pastor Cynthia.
Okay, so I just want to jump in a little bit, maybe about the physical aspect. I want it to be very practical as much as possible, everybody viewing us. So when we talk about the health, I want to take it like maybe from a public health perspective.
Okay.
It's more of preventing disease, promoting your health. That is the way I summarize it all. So when we're talking about that way, maybe like from the physical point of view, just to encourage all our listeners, because sometimes some of us are past childbearing age and that kind of thing, but goals in general, that you really want to, some of them have to do with you setting goals in terms of your physical activity. Okay, you need to set goals for that. You cannot be just sitting down, and then you break it down into how can I be active? Sometimes it just means standing up, walking around, all these little things. So you set goals for that, goals in terms of the area of eating, what you put in your body is so essential. How many calories go into your body? So set goals in those areas. So those are very, very important, because without your physical being strength, how are you even going to support your spiritual man? Because the spirit man, it lives in the body. So that's where I'm trying to come from, So man is a spirit, but we live in a body and we have the soul. So when your body is not strong, where is the spirit going to live? So first and foremost, you want to come down to your physical activity, and it shouldn't be a mindset that, oh, physical activity, I have to go to the gym, I have to work out. It's not only about gym. Last week, we talked about springing into fitness. There are so many things so look into that and set goals for your physical body. When your physical body is strong, then it can contain your spirit, man. And then your spiritual goals, first and foremost, we all know that we did not come out from vacuum. We came from somewhere. Everybody has their own beliefs, right? I'm addressing mostly Christians, but I believe that other people who are watching us who may not necessarily be Christians. So whatever your set of beliefs are, you want to stick to them. because they give you a purpose for life. They give you a purpose to live for, because you realize that beyond all the physical activity, what next? And like even the great economist said, there is like a vacuum in the heart of every individual. And so beyond eating, beyond sleeping, beyond watching TV, you realize that there is still something more. And that is where those of us who are Christians, we look up to God to fill that vacuum, because we realize at the end of the day, God is our creator. In him we live, we move, and then we have our being. So to set a spiritual goal, first and foremost, you want to be close to God. You want to know God. You want to hear God. You want to have God direct you, because everybody believes that there's a supreme being out there. And for us Christians, we believe that it's God the Father, and God is manifested in 3 ways. So just set that goal to have a relationship, an intimacy with God, and he will satisfy that craving in your heart. When it comes to wellness, in terms of maybe economic goals, right? Without you having enough finances, it comes down to dollars and cents, right? And I'm talking about eating well. You know, those of us who go grocery shopping, you realize that the fruits and vegetables are not that cheap,
Right.
you know. And then the other side to it is eating out is very, very expensive. Okay, so when you look at some of these goals that you have set, taking a vacation. So I'm trying to like taking a vacation has to do with wellness, the rest that you need, right?
Yes.
But when it comes down to the finances, it means that you have to set a goal. If I'm receiving this, I'm earning this, my husband is earning this, we have 3 children. And one of our wellness goals is to relax, go for a cruise, go for a vacation. Economically, you have to plan for it. So you set a goal that, okay, our vacation is going to cost us 5,000. And maybe somebody's vacation is going to cost them 500. You have to plan for it. So you have to set a goal that will give you the ultimate wellness that you need. Depending on your budget, you have to set a goal as far as what your food consumption is concerned. Maybe going to the gym, there you have to look at the different places. Which one can I afford? You know, so it's all like intertwined, but it all comes down with economic dollars and cents. How much can I afford? Let me give this little story before. There was this lady who was like, oh, every day people go on vacation. They are going to Disney World and all these places, and I can't afford. And so I asked her what were her thoughts. It's like, I have this amount of money I have. I'm like, vacation doesn't necessarily mean spending 10,000. You can plan ahead of time. You know, maybe you want to go to vacation in the midsummer. Remember that at the peak period.
Yes.
So the cost for airline tickets are going to be expensive. Can you plan it off peak period so that you can save? And I told her, vacation is not necessarily you go and all that you do is order food out. You know, you can plan and prepare and take certain things with you so that it's not like every time we are eating out. And so as a result, I need 10,000. So somebody can go to a vacation with 10,000. Trust you me, somebody can go to a vacation with 1,500. It all depends on how you plan. You know, somebody can decorate their home. Oh, the last time I was talking to Sister Rose, you know, I like the sound of waterfall, you know, just to relax me, or like have a little aquarium. You know, somebody can have an aquarium that costs like maybe 25,000, but you can get yourself a very good, peaceful, water running sound that relaxes you, you know, taking stress away from you. For what? About pennies. You don't have to. So it all has to do with, what do I have? How much can I afford? Plan, set the goals, and through that, I believe that you have the balance to be able to what? Get the wellness that you deserve.
Wow,
I
that's
have,
amazing
I have
so
something to
true.
add.
Oh, okay, Dr. Chichi,
Yeah,
please.
you know, I would really encourage people to also set a wellness goal to get a physical, once a year. A lot of insurances, there's echo. Is it okay?
Yes, you're
Yes.
okay.
Okay. A lot of insurances pay for these wellness visits. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no copay.
Yes.
Get a physical. And a lot of people really need to set the goal to do their wellness procedures, wellness visits. Like, you get a physical once a year. In that wellness, they check your blood, they check even the blood work. Where I work, if you get your wellness blood work, it's free. You don't even need a doctor's order. You just go to the registration, tell them I want the wellness on the house. They do a bunch of tests and you send it to your primary care. Okay, a lot of people, they are out doing other wellness things like fitness, dietary changes, emotional health, new things they're learning. Those things help, to increase their self-esteem. But they forget the wellness health goals. Like, a lot of people have not had their mammogram, their pap smear. Pap smear is good now because now they're only recommending one in 3 years if it was normal the last time. So you don't even have to do it so often. But a lot of people have not done it. They have not done their mammogram from age 40. And then from age 50, you're supposed to have colonoscopy. Wakanda Forever? It was what killed him. Was it not colon cancer?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was colon cancer.
Yeah.
So those are simple things paid for by your insurance. You don't have to come up with any extra money for these, as long as it's for wellness. Then the men, they have to do their prostate screening. Those are simple wellness required by your insurance. Some, like in my job, some tests are required for you to do, like your flu shot, it's required. Now the COVID, they're not requiring it, but they're telling you because they don't want to infringe on anybody's rights, and people are very stressed out right now, so they don't want to make it so mandatory, except if you work in a nursing home. So those are the simple required public health needs paid for by your insurance, required by your insurance. You can set one of your goals is, this year, I'm gonna get all my wellness health goals done. And when you do it, I'm telling you, you feel so good. Like when I do my mammogram, I'm like, praise God, it's done. It's out of the way. Now I can focus on something else. So I want people to think about that too.
Thank you so much for saying that. I'm one person that I hate taking injections. So I try to run from my flu shots, but just because I always I do not miss my annual checkups. They force me to take my flu shots, and I take it. And I find it very important because I feel like, you're being checked all the time. And believe it or not, almost every time I go, they do my blood work, then they have me taking vitamin D because I'm always low on that. And a lot of people might too. I don't know what the issues with that would be. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physical medical professional, but I know that it's a good thing to be reminded to take some of these vitamins once in a while. So I would encourage everybody else, as somebody who doesn't really like being in the hospital, that it's worth it, just going for a checkup annually. Even if you won't go at all, just annual checkup, do it. A doctor has said it, and another person who is totally not a doctor is saying it. Just do it. Insurance is paying for it. Aside that, you are paying for it because you pay for your insurance. So please do take advantage of that and plan and go on vacations. It's good. It's good. I'm telling you, it's good. Somebody who is a pastor, very active in church, is telling you that it's good to take a vacation. Know that it is good to take a vacation. We have doctors here who are saying it's good. So please take advantage, plan, and do it. Okay. So that would take us to Auntie Rose. We'll have you answer this question with regards to mental and social. And then you would also take us through our next question, which will be dealing with stress physically. And then everybody else would also answer that question. So Auntie Rose, please.
All right, so I'm going to start from this point of us just taking a step back, a deep breath, and being honest with ourselves. Okay. Self-reflection is a very important thing. So sometimes we need to just sit back and ask ourselves, what areas of our lives is causing us stress? What is causing us imbalance? And by being truthful and kind to ourselves, not blaming ourselves, not blaming others, we can sit down and identify the source of our stress in our day-to-day life. It could be your job. It could be you getting overwhelmed. Okay, everybody is at home, working from home because of COVID. Okay, so now when you go to work, you're restricted to maybe just 6 or 7 hours at work. Now you find yourself working longer hours. You find yourself not getting up from that computer. So that is causing you a lot of stress. Irritability. If you're married, your husband comes to you about the least thing, then you get upset, and then it triggers you. Don't respond in a very nice way. Or maybe your friend, somebody calls you and is talking to you about something that is just simple. You get upset, all because you are stressed and you're working longer hours at work than you should because of this COVID situation. So we need to find what our stress is. What is your stress out? What is causing you this and causing you your irritability? Is causing you to not be very happy. You are not yourself. So those are the simple things that we can start looking at. And then when you identify what your trigger is or what is causing your stress, if you are able to eliminate or reduce that amount of stress, that is the first step. So let's say your work is causing you a lot of stress. Talk to someone or set limits for yourself. Okay, between this time and this time, I would be behind my computer. Okay, at this time, I will take my break. I'm not going to go beyond a certain time at work. When I'm at work, when work is done, I pack my bags, I leave, and I go home. I'm going to do the same even as I'm working home. By 4:30, let's put objective, say 4:30, when you're at work, maybe you have to drive. So factor all those times in there. So at that time, I'm done. I'm not on the computer. I'm not dealing with anything about work. You need to also talk to someone in your job and let them know. I think everybody understands what we're going through with this situation, and they are very open. So let's not try and do everything and fix every problem ourselves, because you can't. You always also have to be willing to ask for help. If you're in a household where you are expected to do certain things and you are struggling doing it because of one issue or the other, talk to that mate of yours, talk to your partner, talk to your husband, talk to your children. See how other people can come in to reduce that kind of stress that you're going through. Don't feel burned out. Don't allow yourself to be burned out because of situations. But it all comes with self-reflection and being honest and identify your triggers, and then finding steps to find solution to the triggers. Some of the triggers, you cannot avoid, but you can kind of like adapt the way you respond to those things. You cannot go around changing everyone and how they feel or their opinions, but you can adapt the way you respond to some of these things. So that is one thing I would like to encourage all of us to learn to adapt differently, adapt more positively to some of these situations. The same energy that you're going to use to respond negatively, let's divert that same energy to react positively. And that is a step that you consciously have to make. Okay, does it make sense?
Yes, yes, it really does.
And then what is the next step question you want me to answer? So I divert right into it.
Oh, actually, you've answered that, the dealing with stress. So,
Okay.
yes, thank you so much. We're gonna have Dr. Cynthia, if you have anything to add to that, dealing with stress.
Yeah, so like all around us, stress is something that we cannot avoid, but we can do something about it to take it away or to alleviate it, if I should put it that way. So most of the time people are like, oh, I'm so tired, I don't feel like continuing, and blah, 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 blah. So one of the things that you want to do is to have good rest.
Mm.
When you sleep well, it really, really helps. And I always said that with your physical body, if you don't take good care of it, you're just going to break down in all the other aspects. So you cannot cheat nature. I personally, sometimes I wake up so early in the morning, around 2:30, 3:30, but I realize that after 12 o'clock or in between, if I don't take a nap, I don't have that strength to move forward. So when I wake up around 2:33 and I do whatever things I'm supposed to do, sometime between 7 and 9, I have to catch some rest. And then after 9, I feel fresh and prepared for the day. The day that I continue without, taking that 2-hour nap or 1.5-hour nap, from the time I wake up around 3:30 and I continue my day, I realize that I'm not as fruitful, I'm not as effective, I'm not as efficient as I'm supposed to be. And every little thing will get you angry, so you don't want to do that. So you want to rest well. And then the other thing I want to add to it is like self-grooming. I'm sure somebody is asking, how does self-grooming take away stress? For us ladies, depending on your culture or your hair, makeup, or whatever, you need to wash your hair very well. Whatever way it comes to you easy, you need to take time to wash certain parts of your body very well. Sometimes you'll be amazed just standing under the shower and the shower falling on you. Oh, how refreshing it is. So these are some of the things, just sitting back and painting your nails. Or sometimes if you have little children, it's like you're having fun, putting your hands down for them to paint your nails. And that alone is a whole lot of relaxation. So it's both wellness in both ways. You are grooming your body, giving yourself health, and then at the same time, it is relaxing you. So you take showers, you take baths, you give yourself all the health care. Sometimes maybe you're not even going anywhere, but just, being at home and taking time to polish yourself. Sometimes it's like I'm working from home, so it doesn't matter. You're working from home. You don't have to be in your pajamas and how do you call it, that hair thing. No, take that thing off, make it feel like I'm going out, and do your hair nicely. If you have to put on a makeup, and then go and sit comfortably behind your desk. You don't know how much that does to you. Vis-a-vis, you are still in your pajamas all day, trying to juggle things together. That alone is stressful. So one of the things I recommend, good rest, eating healthy, everybody knows that, okay? Taking breaks for yourself. It is so important that, sometimes you've done so much and it's like, everybody turn your phone off. Get off social media. I hope I'm talking to somebody. It's like every 30 minutes you want to check on what is going on Facebook. Every 30 minutes you want to see Instagram, who said what. A friend, somebody says something like, why would you want to spend your time looking at what somebody has posted? You are wasting your time on that person. If you're a business person and you are putting your work out there for somebody to look, that is fine. But you take all your time to look at what somebody else wants to show. So taking a break, just turn the phone off. Turn the phone off. If it's TV, stay away from it, and that alone relaxes you and takes stress. But we have some people, on the other hand, they claim, or I won't say they claim, but they think that the social media helps to calm them down by reading articles. So some people read their articles on their phone. I know somebody, I'm always seeing holding from, like, not knowing they are reading their Bible from their phone. So and that in itself, spiritually, it helps, and then it calms them down. So just get to know the things that help you. And so these are some of the things that I believe that when we put together, and then that social aspect, that social piece, it is so important for everybody listening. God never created you as a loner. You need to talk to somebody. You need to connect with somebody. If you don't know anybody, you have parents, call them and ask them how they are doing. You have sisters, you have siblings, call them, just check on them. You realize that you doing that for them gives you a certain satisfaction, and it takes away certain stress from them, because whatever or however you slice and dice it, you are a social being and you're supposed to interact with. So when you talk about long life, they're like people, the older people who go to church, they have a little bit of socialization around them. They live for a longer time than somebody who doesn't have any kind of social activity in their life. I'm not saying go and be a party animal or whatever that is. I'm not talking about that extreme aspect. But what I'm saying is that you need somebody, you need to talk to somebody, you need to have a kind of social interaction at one point, and all those things helps you to calm down and be a better person.
Thank you so much. I know we have a question in the comment section on Facebook, but then it's part of the things that we're going to tackle. So I haven't missed your question, Auntie Pauline. I will get to it. I would want Auntie Jenny to speak with regards to the stress, and then Dr. Chichi would answer that question when we get to her. So Auntie Jenny.
Okay, for me, I'm going to answer this from a personal level. Okay. The way I tackle stress is by looking into the way I use a scripture which is from Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. And this scripture says that whatever is lovely, whatever is good, whatever is pure, that's the thing you need to think about. So one of the things I do is to take any kind of anxiety away from me. For instance, when COVID came, and being a frontline worker, stress was beginning to come. Do I need to keep this job, or do I just say I'm going to hide in my house? And then I started realizing that the scripture says that be anxious for nothing, but in all things with prayer and supplication, make your request known unto God. And with thanksgiving. Yes. Thanksgiving. So I try to put gratitude, realize which parts of my life, are good, because the tendency is that once stress comes in and you don't nip it in the bud, you don't get rid of it quickly, it can overrun you and overshadow you. And one thing you want to do is do not focus on that which is bad and sad and wrong. Start thinking about things that are good in your life, things that you can definitely see. I started seeing my job as a blessing, that I was healthy enough to be able to take care of people who couldn't take care of themselves. So I would encourage everybody, there's always, they said what, to every cloud, there's a silver lining. Meaning that there's an area somewhere in your life where there's some kind of brightness. Everything else may look dark, but if you look very carefully, there's an area where you can say, I really am grateful about this. Even grateful for the fact that you are of a sound mind.
Mm.
So the way I deal with stress is I don't focus on it so much. I acknowledge it. I definitely acknowledge that this is my area of stress. And as Auntie Rose said, how do I run away? How do I walk away? How do I manage this stress? And one of the things I do is look at the good things that are around me. You know, they outweigh. That's why they say, count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you.
Mm.
You know, it will surprise you how many good things are happening in your life. So I want to encourage everyone out there. Yes, stress is going to come and more is going to happen. But just look at the things around you that you can thank God for or be grateful about, and it will help you deal with that stress.
Thank you so much, Auntie Jenny. Dr. Chichi, I'm going to have you answer the same question. And in your answer, can you please tackle this question about having good sleep habits? And I have a question from Auntie Paulina saying, if you cannot rest well, what can you do? So if you can take us through the stress question and then the sleep habits too. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that question. I will first share how I learned newly to deal with stress.
Okay.
You know, when the COVID struck, it was clear that most of us have actually been overworking, including me. When I had my time of work reduced because of the pandemic, I was like, really? This is what I did to myself? I've been working this hard. So to deal with stress, yes, I discovered this, but you really need to stop excessively working.
Mm.
You really need to take that 8 hours is enough. You don't need 12 hours unless you do it only 3 days a week. If you're going to work 12 hours, the stress on your life is from a lot of overwork. So when I distressed, reduced that, my stress was less. I could spend time with the children. If you spend time with your children, just take them in the car and take them to the park.
Mm.
Your stress will go down as they are doing these things that they do normally, which you didn't have time as much to be doing and should have been doing. So just that makes a big difference. Then another thing was I started eating lunch. I take something from home, just anything little to eat at lunch. I found out that when I eat at lunch, I'm stronger for the rest of the day. And when I'm coming home, I still have energy. So I'm not so down by the time I get home that I just flop out. So it's important to have some lunch, even if it's a fruit. Have an apple, a banana, some nuts with you. Take the leftover vegetable soup or whatever, just a little. It makes a big difference. Then my sister-in-law, Irene, she works with me. She's my nurse practitioner at my clinic. She said she chose happiness, that she's choosing happiness.
Mm.
You need to choose to be happy.
Yeah.
You cannot depend on other people to make you happy. You have to choose to be happy and think about things you do to help you be happy. You know, most times we have earned our stay, we have earned our age, we have earned our position. Learn to do the things that make you happy. So if you really think you like this food, go buy it. You know, African foods are so expensive. The price used to deter you from buying the best quality you want.
Mm-hmm.
But really, you've worked for it. You give people more money. Spend it and buy healthy food that you really like and eat it. that's the best thing you can do for yourself. So a lot of times we are busy putting money here, funeral, childbirth, this one, dedication, anniversary. What about your own anniversary? Take care to do things that make you happy. And for you to do things that make you happy, you have to reduce the work. I could not believe, when people see me, they will say, oh, I'm a doctor or whatever. I did not have time to go shopping. I don't like shopping that much because it takes time working about. But did you know that when I had time, when time became available, and I went and shopped, get some clothes for myself, because I've been buying for everybody, my whole attitude in life changed. I'm telling you, little things. I'm not stressed by going to church in the morning, what to dress, because it's lined up. I can choose anyone. It's not the money. It's the fact that you took time because you cut down your excess work and you now took time. And then accept the help. I don't go shopping alone. I go shopping with my sister-in-law and my friends. And we go. They know where it's cheaper, the cheapest, what is nice, and then you go with them. Let them help you. You might be able to shop alone. You might be able to cook on your own. You might be able to do this better. But there are things people can help you. Accept the help. You are not an expert on everything. Accept the help that people around you can call them. Do you know? I know what people's specialties are. If I need food, I call my sister-in-law. She's cooking every day. I just drive over, tell her, can I have them, please? 3 plates, enough for the family. And I take it. Don't be ashamed. I cook, but she cooks more than me. She's cooking. She loves to cook. I love to sit down and be served on the table. There's nothing wrong with it. But if there is any issue that is an emergency, I'm number one. Whatever it takes, I'll make it happen. In 1 hour, in 2 hours. That thing that you think you cannot do, I can do it. So learn what you can do and what you cannot do, and be happy to accept help. When people offer you help, take it. It doesn't mean you are weak. It doesn't mean you're poor. Okay?
Yes.
I accept what people help me with. If people bring me food, thank you. I have enough people to eat it. I may never eat it. Okay? So learn to say thank you, receive help. It will make a big difference in your stress level. And know what you are good at. I know what I'm good at. If you want to get pregnant, I'm the one. I will help you. And in 10 minutes, I'll tell you what you need to do and what hasn't been done for you. So know your specialty, know what you can do. Let other people be their special person and receive from them. My stress went down. It's like 90% once I realized that. I don't know if I answered your question, but I needed to share.
Yes, ma'am, you did. Can you tackle on the if you cannot rest? I'm pretty sure
a lot about sleep. Yes. So really, sleep is so important, and most times we did not know. Because in school they tell you read till the morning, but sleep is what gets your brain to put everything you've been doing together, make it better, and bring a fresh product. So we need sleep for everything. You need sleep to lose weight, because if you don't rest enough, you don't have the energy to do the exercise, You don't burn the fat. The fat is burnt while you're sleeping. To be good at your work, you need sleep. To take a test, the best thing you can do for yourself is go to bed at 9. So sleep is everything. It decreases depression, anxiety, memory, helps your memory to do better at work, achieve your goals. Sleep, exercise, you need sleep. There are so many things sleep does, even depression. You will be more anxious and possibly go into depression if you're not sleeping. And even lack of sleep is sign of depression. So if it's so bad that you can't sleep, you better see the doctor. Let him find out. But there are what we call sleep hygiene. All you need to do is Google on your phone, sleep hygiene. It will tell you what you need to do in order to be able to sleep. Including sleep at the same time. Do not have a TV in your room. Don't eat a heavy meal before. Don't take a exercise just before you go to bed. Give it some time. All these things are well out there, but the most important one is this: take the TV out of the bedroom. The bedroom should be where, when you get there, your body should know is for sleep. And of course, it ties with overwork. A lot of people die on the street because no sleep. If you haven't had sleep for a long time, your brain quits. That is, it goes into sleep, whether you like it or not. Because you have deprived it so much, the brain will suddenly go to sleep. That's why accidents happen on the road. So it's so important. If you have to overwork, please stay at that job and sleep an hour or 30 minutes. Sleep there before you drive out. You will save your life and save other people's life. But if you Google it, they have a lot of charts, and I use them in my office. I print it and I give them. It tells you, it's like a cycle or different ways they do it, what you need to do about sleep. You need to get it at least 6 hours of sleep. It is different for different people, for different ages, but at least for us, you really need 6 to 7 hours of sleep. These 4 hours and 3 hours is not working. And that's why people are on edge. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Chichi. You've shared a lot. So all too soon, our talk today has come to an end, or close to an end. We only have 5 minutes on our time. So in the next 3 or 4 minutes, I'm gonna have a few of our panelists, or possibly all of them, to give us in a minute what you think, how we can measure our wellness. There are a lot of things that we've learned here today to do. So how do we know that, okay, we're on the right track with regards to achieving our wellness goals? And I'm gonna start with, in a minute, for everybody, please. I'm gonna start with Auntie Jenny.
Oh, okay. Sorry, ask me the question again.
In 1 minute, tell us how we can measure our wellness.
Okay, I think that the way to measure our wellness is our ability to be adaptable.
Okay.
Our ability, yes, to be able to flow with what's going on without getting too worked up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That was awesome and brief. Thank you. Auntie Rose?
I would agree with Sister Jenny. So it's our ability to function without feeling excessively stressed out, our ability to be able to do things without feeling overwhelmed, and adapt to changes without feeling like we are being drowned. So basically, sleeping well, eating well, exercising, and not feeling overwhelmed with circumstances despite the changes.
Thank you. That's awesome. Dr. Chichi.
Okay.
You're on mute.
I will assess my wellness goals by how energetic I'm now. My energy level better? Am I happier? Those are what I will look for. You know, am I calmer? Is it easier for me to do stuff now with less stress? That will show you achieving your wellness goals.
Awesome. Pastor Cynthia.
Okay, just want to say that on our path to achieving our wellness, one of the things is get to know if you are predisposed to a certain genetic condition. Okay, maybe diabetics run in your family, high blood pressure, whatever it is. When you know that, like we said initially, you just have to have regular routine checkup, examinations that need to be done on a consistent basis so that you don't stress that, oh, my mother had breast cancer, so I'm also going to have breast cancer. If you are routine in your checkup and everything, at every one point, you know that I'm doing well. If something is discovered, you know that it's being treated and you have that kind of peace of mind. And to measure your goals in terms of wellness, there has to be a corresponding change resulting from the actions that you took. So if your goal was to lose weight, your goal was to be a little bit happier, are you seeing them coming to fruition? And so it's the outcome that determines that I'm on a path of success. So when you see the outcomes and you're happy with yourself, as far as your exercising, eating, sleeping, and everything is going the right direction, then you know that you've been successful and you continue, because consistency is the name of the game.
Thank you so much. All too soon, we've come to an end of our talk today. I don't know about you, but I've learned a lot. We need to plan, we need to prepare, and we have to understand that staying in good health and keeping up with our wellness is an active process. We can't stop, we have to adapt to changes, and it keeps changing, so you have to adapt. Do things that make you happy, that makes you feel good, that makes you feel energetic, makes you feel like you have good energy to use. And also know that there are so many parts to it. There's emotional, there's physical, there's mental, there is spiritual, and all of that. Take vacations when you need to. You can do that on a dime and not break the bank. So let's stay happy. I hope and I pray that this talk has been a blessing to you as much as it has been to me. And hopefully we come to you again with another topic some other time. Thank you, and God bless you for spending time with us. Have a good weekend.
Thank
God
you.
bless you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be well.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I think
We go off live.
yes, let's go off and come back in.
We end the live session.